Tapes from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
How you doing, Johnny? Summertime.
Doing okay. Doing okay. Yeah. Are you ready to talk about 1941 again?
Yeah.
This is a all 1941 podcast now, right?
Is that the transition complete? Is this podcast only about the movie 1941 and everything having to do with it?
Sure, why not? Let's just interview every person who had anything to do with 1941 from here on out. But no, I'm making a joking reference because we released a bonus episode this last Friday, and we talked to comic artist Steve Bissett, who illustrated the 1941, the illustrated story for Heavy Metal magazine, and check that interview out if you haven't listened to that yet. It's really cool, especially if you're a comic book fan.
Yeah, guys, not to toot our own horns, but I would say that episode was probably one of our best. I'd put it up there. Mm-hmm. It's in the Hall of Fame, definitely.
Yeah,
I'll put that episode right up on the rafters.
Yeah, Steve has some great stories to tell about the making of that comic book, and it is as insane as making the movie itself.
Yeah, it's quite a doozy, as the kids say. So check it out, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this episode is not about the movie 1941. We've decided to take a little detour and talk about another movie that came out in 2007 because, it's summertime, the Olympics, sports, running, all that jazz. It's in the news everywhere. So we was like, let's do an Olympic-themed movie. So we're talking about the movie Blades of Glory came out March 30th, 2007, starring Will Ferrell, John Heder, Will Arnett, Amy Poehler, Craig T. Nelson, and, of course, Jenna Fisher.
Yep. I remember seeing this movie back in the day. Thought it was funny then. Rewatched it for this. Still think it's funny now.
Yeah, no, it's a gas, this movie. I remember, like the same thing. I remember watching this. Did I see this? I'm pretty sure I saw this in a theater. I might have seen this with my now wife back when she was just my gal. And we dug this film. We dug it, and it still holds up. It's still pretty funny. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's probably a few things here and there that are a little, I guess, problematic by today's standards, but you still get a few good laughs out of it.
Yeah.
So this film was directed by Josh Gordon and Will Speck. The two of them went on to direct the movie The Switch with Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman, and Office Christmas Party with Jason Bateman and Jennifer Aniston.
Change up, yeah.
Switching it up.
I never saw either one of those.
Me neither. So that's why I didn't have much to say about it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember they came out, so that's something. And speaking of this movie, this is like I remember John Heder, like of course from Napoleon Dynamite fame. I think he's mostly does voiceover work now, but for a while there, especially in the early aughts, he was like after Napoleon Dynamite, he was a bit of a hot commodity.
He was the hot property, and then it just seemed like his star cooled off quickly, and I'm still not entirely sure why that happened. He did a movie with David Spade and Rob Schneider, I think.
Benchwarmers, yes.
Benchwarmers, yeah. And I don't think that did well, if I'm remembering correctly. And it seemed like he just wasn't in as much demand after that.
Yeah, I remember he also did the School for Scoundrels with Billy Bob Thornton, the Todd Phillips movie.
Yeah.
That was kind of wasn't as big a hit as I guess people thought it'd be. I mean, It's weird, like when you think about Napoleon Dynamite, when you think about that movie, because it was a movie with a directed by a man who no one had ever heard of,
right?
And full of actors no one really knew about, and it was like this small indie movie, and the premise is kind of hard to describe, but somehow it was like a huge like mainstream hit movie. It's like if you think about it, it's kind of like a lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still a huge cult movie today. So I'd like to see John Heder come back with something. I feel like he's due for a comeback.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at his thing now, and his IMDb now. It seems like he mostly does, like I said, like voiceover for like animation and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, it might we might it might be time for a heater renaissance, a heater-sance.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, this was an interesting teaming. It's Will Ferrell does seem to periodically team with other uh, comedy stars, like outside his circle. Like he did this. He did Get Hard with Kevin Hart,
You
and
know.
this would be a good place for a third example, but don't
uh,
have it.
Semi-pro. He was. I mean, it was Woody Harrelson. That's not really.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, he's worked with Woody Harrelson a few times.
There you go. But yeah, like Will Ferrell. Like I think around this time, this was after what was it, after like Old School and Anchorman, of course, were big hits. And I
Hmm.
think for a while he was kind of playing characters that were kind of like Ron Burgundy, but not exactly. Like this character
Yeah.
he plays here in this movie, Michaels,
Hmm.
is like Ron Burgundy esque, but not quite Ron Burgundy. And you could say the same thing, about Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, and Semi Pro. They're like sort of prototypes of Ron Burgundy, but just slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, I think Will Ferrell, he's really good at playing deluded idiots, like people who have a lot of bravado, but they don't have any real reason to have bravado,
Yes.
who are just these complete boobs. But he's like, yeah, I'm the hottest thing going. All right, and I enjoy that about him.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. I love when he plays that type of character. Like, have you ever seen his Ashley Schaefer character in Eastbound and Down?
I've only seen all of the first season of Eastbound and Down, but yeah, I really liked him in that. It's a
Yeah,
funny
he.
show, and I need to go back and finish it.
Yeah, the first. I mean, I still love Eastbound and Down, but that first season, it was banging on all cylinders, baby. Like, holy,
Yeah,
holy, it's. I mean, my God. I mean, Danny McBride. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
good
Danny
Lord Almighty.
McBride's another guy. He seems like pretty fearless in his comedy, and I like Danny McBride too. But I mean, this movie, it's a really cool idea, and the movie has an interesting genesis, and the full story I don't think is widely known. So we'll get into that a little later, I think, when we're covering the trivia. But
Ooh,
I think doing a comedy about a male figure skating team, that's just a great idea.
yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised no one's thought to do it before.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is a great idea. Well, all right, well, let's start. Let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning, as they say.
Okay, that's a very
Uh,
good place to start.
mhm. So we start off. We see a young boy, a young John Heater's character's name is Jimmy McElroy, and
Hmm.
we see him ice skating. He's an orphan, so he's skating at the orphanage, and we see just from a young age, he's like this amazing ice skater,
Yeah,
and we see a man wanting to adopt him. This man, William Fincher, the actor, who plays Darren McElroy, who's this billionaire who adopts him because what he wants to do is he's sort of taken to adopting and taking on younger children who have big athletic promise. So
yeah.
like he's trying to like raise like athletes, like like trying to farm his own super athletes, as it were.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the song that's playing under the opening scenes of this movie, it's the same song that Will Ferrell sings at the end of Step Brothers.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Holy
Yeah,
moly!
yeah, it's Por di Volare, also known as Conti P- Patrio, and I'm probably mangling that pronunciation. But
Hmm.
yeah, as soon as it started, I was like, wait, that's a song from Step Brothers.
Wow, Will Ferrell really likes that song.
I don't know if it's just a coincidence or yeah, if Will Ferrell has a thing for that song, but
That song needs to be in this movie. I'm skating to one song and one song only.
yeah, we see Jimmy McElroy getting adopted by this billionaire, and he trains as a figure skater, and he grows up, and now he's a young man, now played by John Heater, and we see him not at the Olympics, but at the World Winter Sport Games.
I did notice that too, like how like the symbol it didn't look like the five circles, but it looked kind of close to it,
It's
like similar.
reminiscent of it. It doesn't have like the rainbow thing going on, but they're like these interlocking shapes. So it's like as close as you could get to the Olympic symbol without being the Olympic symbol.
Yeah, instead of like 5 circles, it's like 5 ovals or whatever
Yeah,
they use. It's like, oh,
yeah.
that won't get us sued. Let's do it.
Because I mean, I'm sure to use any of the Olympics iconography or logos, you'd have to pay through the nose for that, and it's funnier if you make up your own games anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, we see Jimmy McElroy skating. We see he's a very graceful skater. He does
Hmm.
something called like the galloping peacock, and
He's in a fabulous peacock outfit. The ice skating outfits in this movie are really incredible.
fierce. He looks fierce.
Yes, yeah, and they just take the absurdity of ice skating outfits and they just push it like a few degrees further. So it's a nice parody.
Yeah, and of course we see he has his own like deranged fan, played
Hmm.
by Nick Swartzen. His fan Hector, who goes to all his matches and is a bit unhinged.
Yeah,
But we'll
he's
get
like,
into
"Oh,
that.
Jimmy, did you get that vial of blood I sent you?"
Like Jesus.
Um,
Yeah, we also see Jimmy's coach, played
mhm.
by Craig T. Nelson of Coach.
TV's coach, yes, Craig T. Nelson, and his character never gets a name. He is just called Coach.
Yeah, they're just like, get. We need somebody for the coach. Get that guy from Coach.
Yeah, yeah. So
Have him
good
have him
casting in action,
have him fly in on Coach.
but it's always nice to see Craig T. Nelson. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's good stuff, man. He's
He's
got
good stuff.
comedy chops. I would kind of wish he'd do more comedies too.
Yeah, it's fun to see him in a comedy. Like the last thing I really watched Craig T. Nelson in on a regular basis was the TV show Parenthood, which I was a big
Mm.
fan of. That was a great show.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, kids will remember him from the Incredibles movies.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, Mr. Incredible. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
a terrific voice in that.
yeah. Yeah, he's got some chops. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a Craig T. Nelson Assance along with the Heater Assance.
Sure, let's bring that on.
Let's bring in all the Assances.
Yes, we just need more Assances.
Yes.
And Jimmy's big rival, his big skating rival, is Will Ferrell's character Chaz Michael Michaels, who's like the bad boy of skating.
Oh,
And he does a routine to that song, "The Stroke."
oh, Stroke Me, Billy Squire.
Billy Squire, yeah. Is it called "Stroke Me"? I thought it was called "The Stroke."
It might be the Stroke. I thought it was Stroke. They say Stroke Me all the time, so I just figure.
Yeah,
Oh, that
I
must
don't
be
know.
it.
Okay, but it's Billy Squire.
Right. We learn more about him. He's like you said, like the bad boy of the skating world. He grew up in the mean streets of Detroit,
Hmm.
and he came to prominence in the Detroit's underground skating scene,
Hmm.
as you do. And of course, he has trouble with the law.
We see
Uh,
him skating in the sewers,
yes.
which I don't know if that's a thing, but it's a funny idea.
Yeah, just like illegal underground ice skating.
Right. And he's also won an adult film award,
Yes.
and he's written a book of poetry. Let me put my poems in you.
Yeah. So he's a lot. He's all over the place. Like
He's an eccentric character, yeah.
yeah, like he has like fans in the stands, and he just goes up to them and licks their faces.
Right.
Oh
Women
yeah,
are like throwing their underwear at him.
yeah, he's rock and roll, baby.
He's rock and roll. He's rocking like the black fringed vest and
Yeah, like a wolf tooth necklace and whatnot.
like I mean he looks not unlike like the lead singer of Loverboy.
Yeah, wow, that is a reference.
Yeah.
Deep cut. I thought you were gonna say something like Motley Crue or Poison. You and Loverboy.
Loverboy, yeah, no, because Loverboy's goofier.
Okay, I like it. Like I think at one point Jimmy, like no, Chaz is taunting Jimmy, and then Jimmy comes back saying, "Oh, that's you have a bad attitude. That's why I beat you in Oslo." And
Hmm.
then Chaz comes back and says, "Hey, I was on Quaaludes. I don't even remember Oslo."
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he's rock and roll. Chaz Michael Michaels does not have a coach because he is a lone wolf, and
Oh,
yeah, he runs alone.
right. Personal philosophy: clothing's optional.
Yeah. So they're two opposites. They're two big rivals. And we both see them competing at the World Winter Sport Games, and they get the exact same scores for their routines. They are tied, so they both win the gold medal.
Right. So they both have to go up there and get the gold medal. And while this is happening, we were also introduced to a skating pair.
Mm-hmm.
Brother and sister skating duo Strans and Fairchild von Waldenberg, played
Yes.
by then married couple Will Arnett and Amy Poehler.
Yeah, the then married couple. They're
Then
no longer together, but
right, then married couple. Yes.
yeah. So and the running gag with them is that they have a. It's implied that they have an incestuous relationship. They are very affectionate with each other.
Yeah, they're very close. Some would say too close.
And it's very funny because it's a real life married couple playing a brother and sister who are just all over each other.
It's very Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Yeah.
Oh boy, egads.
So that so they're like the evil skating duo. They're the villains of our movie, and their backstory. They also have a sister, Katie Van Waldenberg, who is the younger sister. She was in the car with their parents when the parents died in a car wreck, and since then she's basically like the indentured servant of Strands and Fairchild.
Right, and Katie is played by Jenna Fisher of The Office
Mhm.
fame.
Yes, yes,
And
and
it is,
who
yeah, it is weird how like the brother and sister are named like Strans, Fairchild, and she's Katie.
Yeah, yeah. And Jenna Fisher, of course, was also in Walk Hard, which we covered previously on this podcast.
Yes, we did. Go back into the
Mhm.
archives, check it out, people.
Yes. And okay, so those are both our main characters in the movie, and Chaz and Jimmy just hate each other so much they have to stand up on the podium because they both won the gold medal, and they end up getting into a fight
Right, I
on the
think.
podium.
Yeah, I think Jimmy says something like "Get out of my face," and then Chad says something like "I'll get inside your face."
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And they get into a big fight. Chaz headbutts Jimmy. Jimmy like goes back, falls off the podium, and they end up setting the mascot on fire,
yeah, as you do.
as you do. And so then this becomes like this big thing. They're they go to a hearing at the National Skating Federation, and then we start to get some of our cameos in this movie. We've got a lot of cameos from the real life world of figure skating.
Yeah. So like it's like yeah, there's a committee hearing to find out what to do after this horrible display they did and got into. And
Mhm.
on the panel on the committee hearing is Peggy Fleming, Brian
Yeah,
Boitano,
yeah.
Dorothy Hamill,
Hmm.
and Nancy Kerrigan.
Nancy Kerrigan, who is hit on by Chaz Michael Michaels. Do you remember when Nancy Kerrigan actually hosted Saturday Night Live?
I vaguely remember it. Yeah, I remember it not being one of their strongest
It
episodes.
is not a good episode. No,
I was being nice. Yeah.
she was very awkward as a host, and I think she kind of realized, like, yeah, I'm not an actor. I should probably not do any more of this.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before where like athletes in, acting in movies, it's sometimes it works and sometimes it does not.
Yeah, yeah, she was not a strong host, as I recall. I couldn't, after all these years, tell you what the sketches were or anything like that. I just remember the overall feeling of that show, and it was just like
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she played like a Disney princess or Snow White at some point because there was a controversy in the news where she was making an appearance at Disney World and she was like caught on mic saying like, "Oh, this is so cheesy," and
Yeah.
people lost their shit.
Yeah, that's not even that terrible, but people
No,
people treated it like she, cursed out the Pope or something.
yeah, yeah, people did. I mean, I guess it's not really going in the spirit of the thing, but if you think that's cheesy, you're allowed to have that opinion.
Yeah. So she hosted March 12th, 1994, with a musical guest Aretha Franklin. God damn.
What a weird combo! Wow,
Really? Yeah. Wow. I
what the heck was Aretha promoting in 1994?
I don't know. As soon as Aretha Franklin, she
Wow.
all right, all right.
Okay, maybe we should go back and review that episode sometime. That might be interesting.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to see it. Now that I know Aretha's in it.
I know, I know. I'm sure the musical segments were great. Maybe they realized like that she wouldn't be the strongest host, so they were like, "Let's get a powerhouse for the musical
Yeah.
guest."
Get Aretha Franklin on the horn.
But anyway, oh, and the head of the committee is played by non-figure skater, as far as I know, William Daniels, who you know from Saint Elsewhere and Knight Rider and Boy Meets World.
Yeah, Mr. Feeney.
Yeah, I mean the great William Daniels, one of our great character actors.
He's good stuff. So they have the hearing, and the committee comes to the conclusion that the two skaters, Jimmy and Chad, should be banned for life from men's figure skating. Which,
Stripped of their medals and banned for life.
yeah, and
So
they don't take that well.
yeah, and Jimmy is very contrite. He's like, "Oh, I'm very sorry," and Chaz is just like, "Hey, what?" You know, he was like, "Here I am in the last month's Maxim. I am figure skating. You can't do this to me." So
Boom.
yeah, very contrasting reactions there.
Right. So as Jimmy goes back home with his adopted dad Darren,
Hmm.
um, will played by William Fincher. On the ride home, William Fincher says, "Oh, this sucks that you can't ice skate anymore. I don't know how to tell you this, Jimmy, but I'm unadopting you."
Hmm.
And like he immediately kind of dropped him off at the side of the road with nothing but his luggage and his baby blue uniforms.
Yeah, and Jimmy, when they give his backstory, like he's known nothing in his life but skating. He has been training for this since childhood, and he doesn't really have like the social skills to deal with the world. So
Right, exactly. He's yeah. Uh,
the movie then jumps forward to 3.5 years later, and they both Chaz and Jimmy have fallen on hard times. Chaz is skating as the evil wizard in an ice show called Grublets on Ice.
it's a children's ice show.
Yes, yes, and so he has to put on like this big, giant head as the evil wizard and say lines of dialogue, and then they cut to him backstage, and he's like getting stoned with the woodland fairies of the show. It looks like the backstage of a rock concert.
Yeah, like Loverboy
Yeah,
concert or something.
exactly, exactly.
It is funny though because at one point you see in the background like a woman making out with a guy, and the guy's like kind of half dressed as a woodland creature or something,
Yeah,
and as while ACDC plays in the background.
yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
oh
and we briefly see Rob Corddry as Bryce, who's like the manager of the ice show, and it's just a small part, but it's nice to see Rob Corddry pop up anywhere.
yeah, he's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also cut to Jimmy, who's working at a ski and skate shop.
Mm-hmm.
Lacing on ice skates onto a little girl, and little girl not liking it because they're too tight. But he's like, "No, this is the right way to do it." And he gets in
Yeah,
trouble with his manager, and he has to like open up boxes in the back. And like the two of them have,
yeah.
both of them have fallen on quite hard times. They're not.
Yeah, he's saying to the girl's complaining about it, and she's like, "Daddy, he's going too tight." And he's like, "Well, she's wrong. I mean, are you going to listen to the little girl? Or are you going to listen to Jimmy McElroy?" And the dad is like, "Who the hell's Jimmy McElroy?" So he's been forgotten by the public after
I
just
mean, yeah. I mean that does kind of happen though, like where you remember an athlete, especially like with I guess Olympic people, where you remember them for a few years and then you kind of forget about them. Like that like recent there's that Geico commercial with Kayla Maroney in it, and
yeah,
then and like I think my wife saw it. She's like, "Oh, who's that?" It's like Kayla Maroney. Don't you remember? She was like a big
yeah,
deal. She did the smirk,
yeah.
and she was
She
like,
is not
"No, no."
impressed.
Wait, what was that?
That was the meme. It was like Michaela is not impressed.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
Yeah,
as it's one of those things. Like I'm sure if people saw it now, they would be like, "Oh yeah, I kind of remember her," but like, a couple years ago, she was everywhere. She was like a big deal.
yeah, yeah. She did the smirk with Obama. I remember they did a photo together.
Yeah, the smirk. It swept the nation.
Yeah. So Jimmy is tracked down by his old stalker Hector, Nick Swarsden, who tells Jimmy that Jimmy is only banned from the men's singles division. He can actually still compete in pairs. So there is a way he could get back into the winter sport games.
Aha.
And Jimmy's like, "Well, how did you do this?" And he's like, "Hey, no one's more obsessive than me."
And then he steals Jimmy's name tag and smells it.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I'm still gonna kill you someday."
Yeah. I was like, "Yikes!"
Jimmy excuse me, Nick Swarsden is very funny in this part. It's a small part, but he makes the most of it, I think.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. Like he's gonna play in like very awkward, like slightly unhinged, but not quite unhinged people.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting his character to come back in a bigger way later in the film, but he doesn't really. This is pretty much it for him, and I feel like they could have done more with that character.
I mean, there's a. I mean, if at the end of the credits, there's like a little bit of a bonus scene with him in it.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah,
yeah. But I know what you mean. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah. I would have liked to see him figure into the plot somehow. I feel like they could have worked him in somehow.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Like if a character says, "I'm going to kill you someday," towards the beginning of the movie, you'd kind of expect them to come back and maybe attempt to kill that person
Oh,
later in the movie. But
you want to see him carry that out?
well, no,
Like,
I just would like that seed to pay off somehow,
you know,
and it didn't really. I thought.
yeah. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. So Jimmy's like, "Hey, this is my way back in. All I have to do is find a partner." So he's trying to find a partner, and you have to register. The registration's in like 2 days, so he doesn't have much time.
Right. So he goes to his coach about this idea. The coach immediately poo-poos it, says, "No, it's ridiculous. It's too late. You can't do it."
Yeah,
Then Jimmy notices a sign saying that the Grublets ice skating children's show that Chaz worked at, they're looking for female skaters. So he's like, "Oh, I'll just go down there and like scout around for female skaters."
yep,
So he goes there. Then we cut to the Grublets show. We see Chaz drunk out of his mind, skating as the wizard.
hmm
At one point, he mumbles something about like another figure skater, about like him and his buddy have, one of his buddy has like a third ball, and he ends up throwing up in the costume head,
right.
and it's like, oh, I threw up in here. It's another layer to the legend. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Jimmy and Chaz they run into each other backstage. Predictably, a fight ensues. They get into a fight, and it makes the evening news.
Right. I think it starts with Jimmy saying to Chaz, "Oh, I see you got fat," and then Chaz saying, "Oh, I see you still look like a 15-year-old girl, but not hot,"
Right.
which is, whoa.
Is that one of the problematic aspects you were talking
It
about?
no, I guess not. Like,
Well, I mean, the jokes I think on Chaz's character. It's
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
But yeah, not real, but still, it's like, wow, okay. But yeah, then they get into this big, huge fight in the middle of the ice skating rink. Everybody sees them, like you said. It makes the evening news. Um, the coach sees this on the news. He like rewinds it because I guess he has like TiVo or something, and he
hmm
notices that like the way they fight isn't dissimilar to ice skating.
yeah.
Like,
At one point, Chaz like hoists Jimmy over his head, and they're like he's sort of twirling around, and that's when he realizes these two could be a pair. They could be an ice skating duo.
right. So he's like, maybe
Yeah.
Jimmy's idea isn't so crazy after all.
We just do it with two men, and he checks the rules. There is nothing in the rules prohibiting a same-sex ice skating duo, so they decide to register as a pair.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we cut to the two of them registering as a pair. It makes big news, which upsets Strons and Fairchild. Of
hmm
course, saying, "Oh, they're making a mockery out of this," and of course they say this while they're dressed in like furry costumes, and which is their everyday wardrobe, but just
Yeah,
like kind of over the top, sequins and satins and whatnot,
yeah, a
and
lot of bedazzling going on.
a lot of bedazzling.
Yeah,
And so they figure what they want to do is they want to have Katie go in and spy on them. Um, Katie originally doesn't want to do it. She says like, "No, guys, you guys should just like focus on your working on your ice skating and work on the pageantry of it, and that will win out in the end." And of course, they're like, "No, could you just go spy on them and so we can cheat? We want to do that."
yeah. So they get Katie, Jenna Fisher, to go spy on them. They Chaz and Jimmy they start training as a pair, and they're just in like this old warehouse where the coach's buddy like it's hosed down the floor
Right? It's very very
with a cold
Rocky.
storage unit.
Yeah, like almost like Rocky when you're
Yeah,
looking for something like
yeah.
that.
And they decide that because Jimmy's the lighter of the two, he will be the quote unquote girl, and and Chaz only wants to perform to one song, "My Humps."
That's right. Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, and see, and this is the part that Kanye and Jay-Z used for that song that they have that I tweeted out today.
Oh, I missed that you tweeted that out. But yeah,
Yeah,
they actually sampled from this scene.
yeah, like it was. I mean, this song was a huge hit back in the day, but yeah, like I mean, I don't know how many people watched or got that clip of the song was from this movie, but still, like as
Hmm.
soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, did Kanye just sample "Blades of
Yeah,
Glory" for
what
this?
were the clips that he used again?
Um, at the first part where he said we're gonna skip to one song and one song only, and then it goes into his song, and then in the middle of the song, it's the part where he says, "I don't even know what that means." No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. Gets
That's
the people
very appropriate for a Kanye song.
gets the people going. I think me and my friends were quoting that for a while after that song came out. It's provocative.
It's provocative.
Gets the people going. Yeah, I don't know what that line always makes me laugh. I don't know why it does, but good lord, it
Yeah.
does. Um,
And so at this point, the coach he also brings in a choreographer to help train the two, and we have Romany Malco, a clean-shaven Romany Malco, as Jesse, the choreographer.
yeah, I felt like he didn't have too much to do in this movie.
He's a little underused. Yeah, he's very funny. There's like a montage where you see him training Jimmy, and we see some Romany Malco's dance moves. And Romany Malco, pretty incredible dancer, man.
I think he used. I gotta look it up. I think he used to be in like a rap dance group back in the day, so he does
I
have
know
like.
he played MC Hammer in like a TV movie about MC Hammer. And that's why,
Wait,
like, at the end of the 40-year-old version, he breaks into like the hammer dance
wait,
because
what?
he learned how to do all of Hammer's moves.
Okay, I'm gonna Wikipedia right now.
Yeah,
I think I did know that, but I think I forgot.
yeah. Romany Malco is an underrated talent. He's somebody who should pop up in more stuff. Has I don't know if he's ever really headlined a movie. The closest I can think of is he did a movie with Paul Rudd called The Chateau. That was just
Uh,
sort of a duo thing with him. But has he headlined a movie?
no. Oh no, he did. He headlined some movie that I like. Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison.
Okay, I don't know that.
It came out in 2018. I remember seeing a trailer for it, and I think it's one of those movies. It was out for a little bit, then it kind of went straight to streaming. But it looked funny. Basically he plays this guy Tijuana Jackson who is locked up in prison, and he's trying to get his life back in order, and he's trying. His big dream is now to become a motivational speaker.
Okay,
So it's like him sort of on the road to being that. And
okay.
like that's like it's a movie he wrote and directed. But yeah, I think it has like a few like pretty well known people in it too. I think
Okay, that's cool. He's
like
doing his own stuff. I like that.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
like Regina Hall's in it and stuff. But like yeah, it just kind of faded away in the background. I don't think anybody really remembered.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've even heard of that. I mean, I was just thinking that, Romany Malco, he's done stuff with the Judd Apatow, and he was in like 40-Year-Old Virgin and all that. And it's like, well, why didn't Apatow ever like, put him in more movies and stuff? I want to see him pop up more. So
Yeah,
maybe I'm just missing out. I don't know.
no, yeah, like in 40-Year-Old Virgin, he was like a breakout star. Like people, he was
Yeah.
hilarious in that. And then after that, let me see what he was in. Blades of Glory, The X, kind of remember. Baby Mama, which we
Okay. Yeah, I
talked about.
remember him in Baby Mama. Yeah.
The Love Guru. Oh,
That was a flop. That was a
oof.
big flop. That probably didn't help him.
Gulliver's Travels. Uh, Think Like a Man, Las Vegas. Think Like a Man 2.
Hmm.
Top 5.
Okay, we obviously need a Romany Malco Assance.
Malco Assant.
A Romany Assance.
Romany Assant. All the Assances.
Yeah,
Uh, okay,
another
all right.
guy needs a comeback. Underrated Romany Malco.
Okay, all right. So, just real quick from his Wikipedia, I found after high school graduation, Malco formed the rap group RMG. The group moved to LA and signed with a deal with Virgin Records in '91. The group's name was changed to College Boys, and they had a
Was it
single.
Boys with a Z?
Of course, how else
Yes,
he spelled boys in the '90s with an S? Stop it.
like a chump.
And they had a single that went to number 2 in the rap charts.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called "Victim of the Ghetto" off their '92 album "Radio Fusion Radio."
Okay, Romany Malco should just be more famous than he is. He should be more known.
Yeah, like here's something interesting. Malco is oftenly mistakenly credited for performing one of the raps as MC Scat Cat on the Grammy Award winning song Opposites Attract, a duet with Paula Abdul. And yeah, I'm finding
Why
all this
is he mistakenly credited for that?
because on October 29th, 2013, Malco told Wendy Williams that he wrote the rap, but he did not perform it. He mentioned running it. He mentioned running into Paula Abdul and asking her, "Who keeps telling people that I'm the cat?" And she responded, "I do. It makes a better story." Malco Malco says that Derek D. Light Stevens was the one that rapped the duet with Abdul. Wow.
But Paula Abdul is just like, it makes a better story for me to say that the other guy did it. What the hell? What the
Yeah,
hell, Paula Abdul?
I don't, dude. I'm just reporting on what I'm
Why are
finding
you
here.
gaslighting people? What the
Yeah,
hell?
spreading misinformation, Paula Abdul. This is how rumors start.
That ain't cool. That ain't cool. Let me just toss in another bit of trivia that I found on the IMDb page. Although it is only referred to subtly throughout the film, the filmmakers intended for the characters of Coach and Jesse, Craig T. Nelson and Romany Malco, to be understood to be romantic as well as professional partners. Some indications of that include the stained glass window in the kitchen showing the Coach and Jesse together, surrounded by hearts, and the triangle-shaped rainbow ornament visible on their shelf during one scene. I did not pick up on this at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, I picked up
So
that they have known each other for a while. I didn't pick
yeah,
on up on them being lovers.
no, no. So they're being like a little too subtle with that. I'd have to go back and look at that background detail.
Yes. Let's go back to the videotape.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2007. Why not just have them be a couple?
Yeah, people are ready for it. Come on,
Why be coy about it?
love is love.
Exactly.
So what the hell were we talking about? Oh yeah, all right. So, Romany Malco,
Mm-hmm.
the Malco Assances need to get started.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the two of them are training. We get, of course, a montage of them training and working out.
Yeah. Even Rocky had a montage.
Yes. Oh wow, I love that. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
And then, as the news spreads of them of just being a real thing and not a joke, we have some news clips in here of people interviewing, folks on the streets about what they think. A lot of people aren't happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
One man saying, "As if figure skating wasn't gay enough," and
Now, was that a real figure skater who said that?
I don't think so. I think that was just some
Okay.
dude.
Because
And
there are a lot of cameos from real life figure skaters, and there are a few more references. But yeah, that was funny.
And there was one part where they interviewed a hot dog vendor, and him saying, "Let me ask you something. Does this look right to you?" Camera points down. Man holding two hot dogs in one butt.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Penis. Get it?
it's against nature.
That's right. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Nathan's. I don't know.
So next we go to the qualifiers, I guess, where you qualify for the winter sport games.
Yeah, I think this was the Nationals. They were in Denver.
The Nationals, that's it. Yes, and the Van Waldenbergs are there, and they are skating to "Good Vibrations" by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Because they're from the streets.
Yeah. And they're in like jean jackets and sideways hats, and they're again bedazzled up the wazoo.
I'm pretty sure Will Arnett had a gold tooth at one point.
He did. He had a fake gold tooth, like a cap over his tooth, and he has the back of his hair is in like cornrows. It's hilarious. Again, the costuming and the hairstyling in this movie is on point, man.
Très bien.
And Chaz and Jimmy do a fire and ice routine to Aerosmith's "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing." That was their big hit song from the movie Armageddon.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, coincidentally, probably one of the worst songs that Aerosmith has ever done.
You know what? I'll co-sign on that.
Co-sign on that. And that was their first number one, which is just it. That is a travesty.
Really?
That was their very first number one song. Yes.
Nothing in the 80s? What, dude looks like Jane has got a gun?
No. I think they were like top 10 songs, but I don't think they ever hit number one before. I remember at the time, people were like, "Oh yeah, Don't Want to Miss a Thing. That's their first number one song." And I'm like, really? What, that one? Ugh.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with people? What's wrong with you?
They have horrible taste.
People are terrible.
They are. They
Ex-
are.
Except you listeners, you guys are cool. Please rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes, yes, please do. Please do. And we will have another example of people being terrible later on when we're getting into the trivia about this movie, because there's a story.
I have not read this, so I'm really looking forward to what you're going to lay on me.
I'm enjoying teasing this. Yeah,
Boy.
So,
yeah.
But they have this extensive routine together. Jimmy falls at one point, and he's just horrified because he's like, I've never fallen while competing before. And by this time, like, Jimmy and Chaz, they've bonded, and Chaz is like, get up, we can do this together. So,
and of course, there's a lot of they do like a lot of things like side by side double axles, a lot of sexually suggestive poses as two dudes.
A lot of faces and crotches, a lot of hoisting Chaz hoisting Jimmy up by his crotch.
Right. A lot of holding on to crotches, butts and on crotches.
Yeah.
It's crotch.
Yeah. There's some homoerotic stuff going on.
You don't say.
Yeah.
All right.
Or some gay panic jokes, however you want to look at it, whatever.
But yeah, they, despite Jimmy falling, they actually pull off a really good performance. And
and the commentators, they point out that the male pairing lets them do moves that are not possible with other pairs because they both have the upper body strength to do this stuff. And their big finale is they slam their crotches together.
Yeah,
so they're basically scissoring each other.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know if that impresses me, but it's definitely makes me want to, grab my crotch and
you're just like, I hope they were wearing cups. I hope they were wearing the strongest of cups.
The strongest of cups.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Because they slam into each other full tilt.
Right, and but yeah, as it turns out, they impressed the judges, and they end up winning and going on to Montreal.
Yes, they get a 6.0, which I guess in this movie's scale is the best. I don't know how you would get a 6.0 when one of you falls during the routine, but they had such an amazing comeback, I guess, that they still get that great score.
I get when you slam crotches into each other, that cancels out the falling, I think.
I guess so.
If I'm doing the math right. I think that's how it works.
Right. So, yes, they're going to Montreal, and we also learned that Jimmy and Katie Van Waldenberg, they have a little crush on each other. It's a little puppy love thing going on.
And they called it puppy love.
Once again with the Donnie and Marie.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be talking about as much as Donnie Marie in this episode as I am, but here we are.
I expect you to talk about Kanye. Donnie and Marie, not so much. You have versatile musical tastes, my friend.
It's another layer to the legend.
So, I mean, we also get like some odd couple type stuff between Chaz and Jimmy. We see Chaz with all his tattoos. We get Will Ferrell in all his shirtless glory.
Yeah.
How do I put this? Will Ferrell, he's not a man who works out.
Yeah, no, he enjoys cake.
Yeah.
He's had a burger or two. No,
not a lot of developed musculature on Will Ferrell's body, and also there's this odd thing going around his rib area where there's like this indentation.
Yeah, it looks like he has kind of just one ab, but it's just like a big gut.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if that is a makeup effect. I don't know if that is a thing that is actually Will Ferrell's real body. I have no idea. I've not done the research on this, but you look at it and you're just like, what is that? What is going on there in that area? I don't know.
Will, do you tighten your belt around above your stomach? Why is that?
No.
What's going on here, fella? I'm not here to body shame, but I mean,
no, I am not at all. But you're just like, what is that? I am unfamiliar with whatever that is.
I have a lot of questions.
I have questions. Yes.
And this is me saying it. My body is in terrible shape, but even I can be like, wow, it's something going on over there with his physique.
Same. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're not
Well,
Adonises here, people, but no.
yeah, no. We had, Chaz also has tattoos. They are commemorating like his hookups with both Michelle Kwan and Oksana Bayul, which
Yeah, she's as cold as the ice she skates on.
yeah, which is hilarious because they're both real life skaters, and I'm like, did they have to get permission from them to
I
use their names in that joke, or is it just considered a parody and it's fair game? I don't know.
I'd hope they'd reach out to them and just be like, "Hey, just so you know, we're gonna use your name in this joke. Are you cool? Hope you're cool with it." Like
And imply that you hooked up with this with Will Ferrell's character.
I don't know. Do you need to to
I
get their
don't
okay?
know. Yeah, it's probably just fair game because they're public figures.
Yeah, I guess so. But still,
So
uh,
yeah, but it's not. I don't think either one actually appears in the movie, so they're just referenced by name. It's
mm,
just I don't know. It just made me wonder.
no, I hear you.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Taz also has like a lone wolf tattoo because he was the lone wolf. Yeah, but now he's learning to be a partner.
right.
So, and he is also a supportive friend to Jimmy. He encourages Jimmy to go call Katie and ask her out.
Well, yeah, I think what he does is Jimmy tells Chaz, "Hey, I kind of have a crush on the enemy, like Katie
Hmm.
Van Waldenberg," and he's like, "Oh, nice, you should call her." And he's like, "No, no, I don't know, I don't want to do that." And but Chaz just literally just walks up to the phone, calls her, and he's like, "Hey, it's ringing," and he just hands him the phone.
Right, right. And then when Katie receives the call, she's getting coached on her end by her brother and sister, who are like, "Oh yeah, you should seduce him, and that'll help us sabotage the other team." So
Right.
we've got a scene of Strands and Fairchild coaching Katie on their end, while on Jimmy's end of the phone, Chaz is coaching him on the call, and they're all trying to make it sound all hot and sexy.
Yeah, and with these two people who are not those types of people at all.
They are very repressed, very sexually awkward characters.
Yeah, I think at one point, Strauss tells Katie to like, oh, say this. He writes down something for her to say, and she
Right,
says, "Oh, that's great. We'll meet tomorrow. That'll give me enough time to get my jugs waxed."
right.
Which,
Because waxing jugs, that's hot,
hey now,
right?
hubba hubba.
Yeah, but I mean, when they're left to their own devices, Jimmy just asked Katie out. He was like, "Hey, do you want to go get a snow cone?"
Yeah,
So,
it's
so
very.
they get a nice snow cone. I mean, because they're
Oh.
they're psychologically probably about 14.
Yeah, you're pretty much.
Yeah,
Uh, they're,
um,
they're innocent.
they're very innocent characters. Yeah, and it's kind of adorable.
Right.
And John Heater and Jenna Fisher both play that very well.
They're totes adorbs.
They are. Um, Meanwhile, the coach is trying to get Jimmy and Chaz to do this forbidden move. What was it actually banned? Yeah, it's a forbidden move called the Iron Lotus,
Right.
which
Like he wanted to perfect this move, this ice skating move that was so revolutionary and so dangerous that like the US didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't want to touch it. So
right,
he did it in the only place where you can do sort of revolutionary, extremely dangerous moves. North Korea.
yeah, and he shows them footage of this move being practiced, and it looks like they pull it off beautifully. It involves like tossing your partner, and the partner kind of twirls around in the air, and
Right.
the blade comes like very close to your partner's neck, and it actually beheads the other skater.
Yeah, we get a beheading in this movie, guys.
That we have a beheading. They finish the move, and they get into their final poses, and then the partner's head just falls off,
Yes.
and it's so cartoonish, it's comical.
Right. Everybody's like, "Oh, all right." But
Yeah,
yeah, but then coach explains to them, "No, I understand now why that didn't work because it was a man and a woman. Like
right.
I guess the math was off because like the body
Yeah,
weight or whatever
the
math
body weight and the strength, and he's like, yeah, but a man and a man can pull this off. So
because they have just twin dongs as they
yeah,
say.
Yeah, the two hot dogs in the single bun.
Right.
That's
2 francs, 1 bun.
that's right. So they're going to practice this, and we have a montage later on of like Will Ferrell. He's like practicing this over and over with like these dummies that have wigs that make it look like exactly Jimmy's blonde hair, and they're like 20 heads that have all been cut off, and Will Ferrell's like, oh no, I'm gonna get it, don't worry.
Jimmy's like, I'm what?
Yeah,
So yeah, then we cut to Jimmy and Katie going out on their date, and we see them
yeah,
both dressed up the way that each of their friends and partners want them to dress. So we see Jimmy dressed up um, like Chaz, like a
yeah,
wolf's tooth
yeah.
necklace and black leather and fringes, and
And Katie's dressed much more sexually than she would be if left her under. She's in like this silver mini skirt and I think a halter top or something. But yeah,
right. And then the two of them start to bond a little bit, just because Jimmy talks about how he was pretty much sheltered his whole life, and he was only born and raised to be a great ice skater and a figure skater. He didn't know anything outside of that world. And Katie confides in him that like her parents died kind of because of her, but not really, because like they were driving to her ice skating recital and like they got killed in a car wreck. So you know through that she's always felt guilt about it. So her brother and sister kind of get her to do whatever they want because of that guilt.
yeah, yeah.
And then they kiss.
And then they kiss, and it's yeah.
Mm.
It's an awkward kiss because neither one of them is very experienced at the kissing thing.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about no lip locks.
No.
And I think after they kiss, I think Katie says, "Well, I never saw my story about my parents dying to be a romantic one." But
Yeah.
okay. And then they eat their snow cones.
Yeah. It's bizarre, but it's also kind of sweet.
Right. And then we see the next day, Chaz asks Jimmy about the day. It's like, "Hey, how'd your date go with your lady? You carve up any ice with your wiener?"
Yeah.
With your wiener. Uh, yeah. So then, cut to them going to Montreal, and
For the World Winter Sport Games. The World Winter Sport Games 20. So this dates all the way back to 1987.
wow,
Yeah.
what was life like back then?
I mean, just the storied traditions of the World Winter Sport Games. I mean, I think we all remember all the great moments over the years of the World Winter Sport Games, right? The downhill skiing,
Right.
the snowball fights.
Yeah. Cool runnings.
Yeah,
That one thing that happened, the other thing that happened.
right.
I mean, my God. I mean, it was history in the
Yeah.
making.
I mean, there are just too many great moments over those 20 years to list them all.
I think we just did list them all.
I think we did. Yes,
Yeah,
you're right. You're
that was
right.
it.
Okay.
That was
Well,
it.
good job, us.
Yay. So we see Jimmy and Chaz giving a press conference. The press seems to love them.
Hmm.
Sponsors seem to love them. They seem to be getting more and more traction and momentum. Then we see, I think as they're giving their speech, like Katie's in the audience saying "Hey" to Jimmy, waving, you know,
Yeah.
coquettishly, and Fairchild sees that and says, "Oh, it seems like you and Jimmy are getting along. That's great. Now we want you to seduce and sleep with Chaz."
Yes. Yes. Before we get into that's a plot. There's just a line during the press conference that I love where uh, Chaz just says, "Oh, hey, you figured out how to work the Google on the internet machine." I just love that line.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
It's a good line. It's a good line. But yes, they tell Katie to turn her attention to Chaz and have sex with him to just drive a wedge between these two partners and friends.
Right. And of course, Katie first doesn't want to do it. And then they say, "Well, if you don't do it, something might happen to Jimmy's legs. Be a shame if something happened to his legs. You know what I mean?"
Below the knee and above the ankle.
That's
So
right.
they want her to do the Tanya Harding type of thing, maybe.
Yeah, go full Galooly.
Full Galooly, Jeff Galooly, that was the guy's name. I was forgetting
Yeah.
that guy's name.
Yes. Sebastian Stan. I saw the movie.
I still need to see I Tanya.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
It's good stuff.
So we have Chaz. He's going to his sex addicts meeting because he is a sex addict.
Yeah, that's a running theme throughout the movie. He always says, "Oh, I'm a sex addict. It's my cross to bear," and
Right.
he's always trying to hump and bone.
Yeah. So he goes to his sex addict meeting. We have another cool cameo. We've got Luke Wilson as the the head of the sex addicts meeting.
Yeah, like another a little bit of an old school reunion here.
I know. Yeah, that was cool. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Luke Wilson was in this.
Yeah. I also liked in the sex addicts meeting. There's like they show the things around there, like a pot of coffee, and of course like a bowl full of condoms.
Yes. And they have a pledge. Let me see if I can find the text of the pledge. I think that here it is. It's God grant me the serenity not to have sex with my friend's girlfriend, the courage to go home tonight without having sex with my friend's girlfriend, and the wisdom to walk away from my friend's smoking hot girlfriend. So that is their sex addict anonymous pledge.
Words of wisdom, man.
Words of wisdom. Words to live by.
Yeah, follow those words, brother.
Yeah. So Katie shows up to the sex addict meeting, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a sex addict."
I like all the sex.
Yes, and she and Chaz, they start talking a bit after the meeting, and she's like, "Well, we should get together and bond." Subtext bone.
Hey,
and she invites Chaz up to her hotel room at 11:55 p.m.
you know what goes down at 11:55 at a hotel?
Yeah,
come on.
And I like right after they make that date, I guess, we see Luke Wilson as the counselor. He drives behind his car and he leans out his windows and he's like, "Hey, come on, people, break it up, go home." And we see like some sex addicts who are like in a clinch together. They separate and a couple more come out of the bushes. So it's like everybody from the sex addicts meeting is hooking up.
Like, get out of there, yeah. Get out, go on, get, yeah.
That was cute.
No, that was funny. That was a good visual.
Yeah, that was a nice unexpected gag.
Right. We also should mention like Jimmy was in his hotel room and he gets like a little teddy bear with a note on it sent to him saying, "Jimmy, meet me in my hotel room, Katie." Which
and what time is he meeting her at her hotel room? Like maybe around midnight, like 5 minutes after Chaz is there.
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder that can't be good.
They're in a collision course with wackiness. So Chaz meets up with Katie in her hotel room, and Katie's she's decked out in like some lingerie and looking hot to trot.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, Pam from The Office. Holy.
Yeah, that's right.
Holy.
She's all panned out. And she's bringing the heat. She's coming on to Chaz. I mean, she is reluctantly doing this. She doesn't want to do it, but she feels like she's forced to. And Chaz, I mean, there's a funny bit where like Will Ferrell just like grabs onto Jenna Fisher's chest.
Yeah,
and just keeps his hands there for a very long time.
It's like Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah. But as he's doing this, he realizes that Jimmy is his friend and he can't go through with this. He can't sleep with a woman that Jimmy has feelings for. His hands are still on her boobs this entire time.
I mean, he's still a man.
Yeah. And then who comes by but Jimmy McElroy.
What?
With a big bouquet of flowers, and he sees those two, and of course he thinks the worst.
Impure.
Yes.
You sex fiend.
So and Chaz was like, "No, Jimmy, no, it's not what you think. It was nothing. Think of it as a boob handshake."
Yeah,
At one point he like takes his hands off Jenna Fisher's chest, and then he like puts one hand back on one of her breasts a minute later. It's very funny.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, they are boobs. I mean, you gotta. How do you take your hands off boobs?
I, look, I have not found out the answer to that yet in my life.
You can't. It's a
I mean,
magnet.
any boob in this world that I've stopped touching, it's not really been by choice. It's just,
Oh,
it's like, settle down. We have to move on with our lives. And it's like, okay,
we got things to do. I got laundry.
yeah, I've got a meeting at work. Okay, fine.
Fine.
So then we got, like, Chaz is desperately trying to apologize to Jimmy. He makes like a long series of phone calls to apologize. Katie is, of course, she's horrified. She breaks away from her brother and sister. She's also calling Jimmy to apologize.
Right, but like no one can find Jimmy. No one knows where he is, and then now it's the next day, the day of the big event.
Yes, yes, it's the day they're going to do their routines. They're going to compete. We have Chaz in the morning. He's getting ready to go to the arena. He gets into his cab to take him there. And who's the driver? It's Strands. It's Will Arnett. Yeah,
Gasp!
and he's all evil, and he kidnaps him, and he ties him up in like some warehouse room somewhere, some
Right,
storage room
right, and
with lots of ice skates on the wall.
right, and it turns out Jimmy is actually at the event. He's at
Hmm.
the stadium. He spent the night there. Um, so yeah, like you said, Chaz goes to him, but of course, Strands kidnaps him. Fairchild is at the stadium. She sees Jimmy there, and she ends up, knocking him out and handcuffing him to a urinal in the restroom.
Yeah, yeah, he's handcuffed inside of a bathroom stall on the railing of the side. Chaz manages to free himself by cutting the ropes with the blade from an ice skate hanging on the wall, and a chase ensues between Chaz and Strands.
Yeah, and that's actually was a pretty funny scene because the two
Yeah,
because like the warehouse Chaz was at, it's near a lake, so he was able to get on some ice skates and skate away towards the arena to make it in time for the event. Our Strand sees him and he gets on skates as well, and he skates towards him, and so it's like a running chase with ice skates. They're skating towards each other. But
yeah,
then once they
yeah.
get to the arena, they have to get off the ice and like walk across the street in skates. So
Hmm.
the chase goes a little slower.
Yes, yeah. It's much more wobbly, and they get inside the arena, and like Chaz gets on the escalator, and his skates are caught in the grooves on the escalator.
And then Strands does the same thing. He gets on the escalator, his skates get caught in the groove, and then they're like, "I'm coming to get you as soon as I get off this escalator."
Yeah, and so they're both just stuck in place, going up on this slow escalator. And Chaz at one point, he like turns to Strands, and he's like, "So what's your outfit anyway? Are you because Strands is in a in just like a gray business suit with a black tie, and his hair's done in like a early '60s style. And he's like, so who are you? Are you like Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone, or?"
Right.
And and Strands is like, no, I'm JFK. It all makes sense in context.
Right, because as we see, Fairchild is dressed up as Marilyn Monroe, and like you
Right.
said, she handcuffed Jimmy to the bathroom stall to by the urinal. Of course, she tells him, "Well, I wouldn't have to do this if my dumb sister would have done what I told her to do, and slept with Chaz to break you guys up." And
Right.
that's where Jimmy learns, like, oh, she didn't sleep with him. Hooray! Um,
Yay.
then as we see,
He's still pure. Yay.
yep, yes, pure as driven snow. So then we see Fairchild leave him locked up. She tosses the key, conveniently in the garbage can
Hmm.
in the bathroom stall. Jimmy can only poke his head out from underneath the stall door. He sees a kid in there saying, "Hey kid, can you help me out here?" The kid, of course, gets freaked out. Stranger danger, stranger danger.
Hmm.
Runs out the bathroom, knocks over the garbage can, and the key is on a used piece of toilet paper.
Right. Which unrolls to the stall door. So there's this long roll of toilet paper that that Jimmy has to bring to him to get that key to him.
Right, and then probably one of the more grosser scenes in this movie,
Yeah.
Jimmy can sort of get the can get to the toilet paper, so he could bring the key closer to him, but he can only do that with his mouth. So
Yeah.
he puts his tongue on the toilet paper to drag it towards him, and of course on the toilet paper there was all types of, you know, dust and used lollipops and,
Yeah.
you know, super
It's
gross.
out of the trash. There's gross stuff on there.
Yeah. So as he's trying to drag the key that's on the toilet paper to him, his mouth is hitting all this garbage and stuff while he's on a urinal floor.
Yeah. It's all very gross and suspenseful.
Yeah, if you have like some type of, like, you know, OCD against stuff like that, this scene you'll probably pass out from this scene.
Meanwhile, like Chaz is still being chased by Strands. He actually tries to make a getaway across like this iced over body of water, and he falls through the ice.
Yes, he falls right through the ice, and we know he's gone because we didn't mention it before, like how Chaz has this like hairbrush that he uses to brush his hair like 100 times.
Oh yes, yeah.
We also find that Chaz uses horse shampoo on his hair because it leaves his hair more, you know, luxurious. At one point, we find out he has this hairbrush that he really loves that's made out of ivory that he paid like $12,000 for it. At one point, he even says, I don't think I could love a human baby as much as I love this hairbrush."
Yeah.
But yeah, we see that hairbrush floating in the water, so we know he's like down for the count.
Yeah. But he is not down for the count. He manages to get out of the ice. He uses like his skate to kind of grip onto the ice and hoist himself out of the frozen waters beneath.
Right. So we have Strands running back to meeting up with Fairchild. They do their Marilyn Monroe, JFK ice skating performance, complete with pill overdose.
Yeah, we only see like little clips of it. We don't see the routine in full. But yeah, but Amy Poehler is like scooping pills into her mouth, and JFK is performing like the Heimlich on her, and yeah. So it all sounds very tasteful and very historical.
Yeah, you know, very appropriate. You know, timely.
Yep.
So then, but they perform. They get a good score, and so Jimmy was able to break free. He's able to perform, but of course Chaz is not there, so he has to show up in the next few minutes, or else he'll disqualified. Chaz is able to make it, you know, frostbite and all. He busts through the door. He screams to Jimmy as Jimmy's on the ice, saying, "Hey, I'm here, Jimmy. Nothing happened between me and Katie. She's not a whore."
He's screaming at the top of his lungs, "Katie is not a whore!" and we see Jenna Fisher just sort of cringing in her seat.
Right. But it's you know, she's not a whore. That's a good thing.
She's not a whore, and people need to know this.
That's a positive thing. It's not. It's a good
top
thing.
Of their lungs. Hey, and you know, not that she can't be a whore if she wants to be a whore. She's a liberated woman. She can make her own choices and all that. But our important takeaway: not a whore.
Right. Exactly. If you take away anything from this podcast, and I hope you do, is that she's not a whore.
Katie, not a whore.
But if she was, that'd be cool.
I mean, if she wants to be a whore. If she's forced into being a whore, that's not so cool. But,
right.
You know,
I think
it's all about choice.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
It's all about, we're pro-choice here. That's all we're trying to say.
Exactly. She can make her own decisions about her personal level of whoredom.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah.
Did not expect to be saying whore so much in this episode, but here we are.
Whore.
Yes. So Will Ferrell, he makes his way down to the ice skating rink by ripping off his jock strap just right out of his pants and hoisting himself onto like a rappelling himself off a rope that goes straight down there, going over the
zip lines on down.
That's the word, zip line.
Zip line straight on down, and then he just ducks behind the barrier, the partition, and he instantly changes into his ice skating outfit.
As you do. He looks great.
Because that is a talent that he has. He can get undressed in seconds. Because sex addict.
Yes, of course. And then the two of them continue their routine to Flash Gordon.
Well, not before Chaz, he tosses out his jockstrap, and it is caught by professional skater Sacha Cohen.
Yes.
So, another skating cameo.
Not to be confused with Sacha Baron Cohen.
No, and that's probably why he goes by Sasha Baron Cohen, which I didn't really realize until this.
Maybe that is. I just realized that now. Like, yeah, I guess he didn't want to be confused with the skater. It's like Vanessa L. Williams, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
So, so then they start their routine. I mean, Chaz makes it there right in the nick of time. It was like if he didn't arrive right then, they were going to get disqualified within 30 seconds.
Right. So they
So,
continue their performance, and the performance goes well. It's like
mhm.
it's damn near perfect.
Yeah, they're in like sort of science fiction themed outfits. They look kind of like David Bowie Starman era.
Nice.
Like Jimmy's got like the little lightning bolt by his eye. You were going to say what?
I was gonna say like Tron. Like I saw
A
like
little Tron, yeah. There's a little Tron in there too, and they're doing their routine to Queen's Flash Gordon theme. They've got fireworks shooting out of their costumes. They're doing cartwheels together,
I mean it's a
and
spectacle.
yeah, and they do a freestyle section, which was, that's outside of Jimmy's comfort zone. That he's not comfortable improvising while he's skating, but they do a freestyle section, and it's great. The commentators say these guys put the bone in Zamboni.
Hey, yeah, and we get those are two actual sports newscasters, Jim Lampley and Scott Hamilton.
Scott Hamilton, who I believe was also a skater, if I'm remembering correctly.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of professional skaters cameoing in this movie, if you
Yeah,
haven't noticed.
yeah, absolutely. So at this point, they're going well. Everything's going great. Strons and Fairchild are nervous because, like, oh, if they win, we're done for. We got to get real jobs, and we don't want to do that.
We can't be as incestuous with each other. You know,
the
figure
real
skating tolerates us much more than the rest of the world does. So
the real world won't accept us.
yeah, so we have to sabotage them. So Fairchild, she breaks her pearl necklace and tosses it out on the ring. Really impressive shot, by the way.
Yeah, that
Where
that was pretty like some fancy correct some fancy camera work there.
Yeah, I mean, we see her break the pearl necklace, and then the camera just kind of follows the pearls. I'm assuming they're CGI pearls, and then we see it like bouncing across the ice rink, and then that screws up Chaz. Chaz slips, and he breaks his ankle, and so it looks like they can't compete their routine. They can't do the Iron Lotus that they've planned and practiced so hard.
Yeah, like Chaz broke his knee, and but they need to do the Iron Lotus in order to win, John. So at the
Yeah,
last minute, Jimmy says, "All right, let's switch places. Like I'll uh, I'll lift you around, and instead of what we originally planned."
yeah,
So
yeah. So they've switched places for the Iron Lotus, and this was a risky move to begin with, doing it how they practiced. I mean, we're in uncharted territory here. They've never practiced it the other way.
right, like I think Coach sees what they're doing, and he's like, "No, don't do it! Oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah, yeah.
You'll kill him. You'll behead him.
You crazy bastards.
That's suicide, man. It's suicide."
Yeah, but they do it, and it goes off amazingly.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we get this close shot of Jimmy doing the spin and it coming super close to Chaz's neck, so close that it cuts off some of his stubble. Like
yeah,
it,
two bits of the hair.
yeah,
That is how close it got to slashing Chaz's throat and beheading him.
almost looks like a razor commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
But they pull it off, and they win the whole shebang bang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Strons and Fairchild get arrested by Mountie Andy Richter.
Yeah, just a random Andy Richter cameo at the end.
Yeah, as
That's always nice to see. And and I liked how they had the mascot. Like when Strands is chasing Chaz, he's chasing him with a crossbow during
yeah,
that sequence, and he like impales a mascot with like a big snow ball for a head,
yeah,
and we see the mascot come in with the big snowball head, and then a arrow sticking out of it, and he just lifts his hand and points.
points to
It's like,
Strons.
that's the man.
Right. And yeah, so Mountie, Andy Richter come to take him away. We see
Hmm.
Strons and Fairchild fighting over this because now they're totally ruined. And of course,
Right.
they're fighting goes right into a makeout session.
They kiss each other incestuously, as it says in the Wikipedia entry.
Yeah,
And yeah, I that was nice to see. I was hoping that those two crazy kids would get together.
yeah, they belong together.
Oh wait, no, I mean no, because
What? No, no,
it's
we don't.
illegal.
Yeah,
But no, they were married in real life at the time, so I guess it's okay. I have weird feelings about this.
it makes you feel weird.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, but yeah, everything works out for the best. Katie and Jimmy get together and
Hmm.
they kiss properly because
Yeah,
Jimmy taught. I mean, Chaz taught Jimmy a few things about how to
yeah.
do that
And
properly.
Katie, not a whore.
Of course, yes. Let's get that. Let's repeat that a few more times.
And Chaz and Jimmy's friendship is repaired. Chaz shows Jimmy his new tattoo of Jimmy on his arm, and it's right next to his lone wolf tattoo. So he's like, I have a new tattoo of a wolf who runs with the lone wolf.
Right, and it's of Jimmy's face kind of poking out of his Chaz's skin, which is
Yeah,
it's a little disturbing, but it's heart's in the right place. His heart was in the right
yeah,
place. It's sweet.
yeah. So they receive the gold medal. They both have the gold medal, and then they fly off into the sky
Yeah,
with the rockets on their skates. It's just a totally surreal ending, which I love.
yeah, it is, and then it ends with a song by Bo Bice called "Blades of Glory." So I guess Bo Bice wrote a song for this ending.
Sure, yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, you got to get that sweet, sweet American Idol money.
Yeah, so it's like it's like one of those over the top '80s. It's a blades of glory, gonna
Yeah,
gonna chase your dreams tonight. It's like one of those songs. I just
yeah.
made I just made that up. Hey,
That was great. That was wonderful.
gonna ride with the wolves and chase your dream on the blaze of glory. Yeah. I think I have a career in songwriting. I'm just saying.
If somebody wants to take that sound clip and just remix it and put a cool beat under Darren doing that, I would love to hear that.
Please, somebody do that and send me the MP3 of that because I need a new ringtone.
Yes, 100%, 100%. So that was Blades of Glory. I think it's a very funny movie. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it back then. I enjoyed it now.
Yeah, no, I totally get a kick out of it. Like I think, I mean, Will Ferrell's all. I mean, he's a comedy dynamo. I mean, John Heder was good too, and Jenna Fisher was good too. But I really think like Will Ferrell really does kind of steal all the scenes he's in, as
Yeah.
well as Will Arnett was damn funny in this too.
Will Arnett was very funny. I mean, he and Amy Poehler worked very well together, of course. And yeah, it's kind of a shame that they're not together anymore, and probably will not work together again. I would imagine.
Yeah.
But
Ooh,
but yeah, they're very funny in this movie.
absolutely. So yeah, Blades of Glory. It's a knee slapper, guys. This one's a hoot.
Yeah, and I think it's been like a little forgotten with time, which a little unfairly so.
A little bit. I think I should have looked up how much money it made.
I've got it up here on Wikipedia. Apparently, the budget was 61 million, and the box office was 145.7 million.
That's decent. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so it's a little over twice the budget. So
Not bad. All right.
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like old school money, but still, it did well.
no, yeah, and it's not the big cult film that Anchorman is, but I think it's a solid entry in Will Ferrell's filmography.
I would wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, and he and John Heder make a good team too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
All right. So you've been teasing the backstory about this movie throughout this episode. So I gotta hear. I gotta hear
Yeah,
all the brouhahas about all the hoopla.
it is nuts. Like when we were first talking about doing this movie, I just like looked it up on IMDb and trying to figure out when we were going to schedule it and stuff. We were talking about doing it sometime when the Olympics were going on. Um, this movie, the backstory of the writing of this movie, it's kind of nuts. Um, it's credited to brothers Jeff and Craig Cox, but it was actually conceived initially by Busy Phillips.
Yeah, I think I saw that in the IMDb,
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I saw I had like a ton of screenwriters and a ton of story. It said story by, and there was like four people, and screenplay was by like a bunch of people. So I was like, what is? That's quite a
Right.
bit of people.
So the backstory is Busy Phillips. Craig Cox was her boyfriend. She was shooting White Chicks, the movie White Chicks, up in Vancouver, and she was watching a lot of figure skating on TV.
Okay.
And she broke down the outline for the movie, drafted and drafted the script with Craig Cox and his brother Jeff, and they even wrote in a love interest role for Phillips to play. This was all detailed on Vulture and on an. I've also got an ET Online story. So I'm assuming the love interest part was the Jenna Fisher part, the part that Jenna Fisher ended up playing.
Okay. Wait. So
Um,
Busy wrote this film for her to star in, or her to be in.
yeah, for her to be one of the stars, yes.
Hmm.
They originally had Ben Stiller and Will Ferrell in mind.
Okay.
Then Ben Stiller decided like that the part of Chaz was a little too close to other parts he played. I guess he was thinking about
Dodgeball, maybe.
Dodgeball or something. And
I could see that.
then Will Ferrell stepped into the Chaz Michaels part. But after the screenplay was done, the brothers dropped Busy Phillips's name from the script and sold it without her.
Oh.
Um, and she writes about it in her book. This will only hurt a little. And she writes, I had a hard time recovering. It wasn't the script. It was that I'd been so easily thrown out like trash. I was in the way of their success, I guess. Collateral damage. And in order for them to do this insanely shitty thing to me, they vilified me and told me I was crazy. The story became that I was the one who had tried to steal ideas from them, that I was always just looking out for myself. They had come up with this amazing story, and I was the less than talented girlfriend trying to glom onto their talent and carve out a piece for myself, a piece that I didn't deserve. I had a hard time figuring out what was real.
Oh wow. Wait. So she didn't have like a legal stake or anything like that in the.
Well, like apparently they just kind of shut her out and they gaslit her about this. And there was an oral history of the movie on Nerdist where the Jeff and Craig Cox just were talking about how they conceived it, and they didn't mention Busy Phillips at all. Busy Phillips got in their face about it, and they edited the Nerdist piece to acknowledge Busy Phillips's contributions.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
insane.
This is a quote of her on Vulture from 2018 article. She says, "As soon as I saw it, my heart sank because I knew what was going to fucking happen." Phillips recalled at this year's Vulture Festival in Los Angeles. That would be 2018. I got panicky, PTSD panicky. As she anticipated, Craig fully attributed the idea of Blades of Glory to his brother Jeff, completely eliminating Phillips's contributions. Quote, that's not what happened. I read that and I lost my shit, she continued. I sent him some very intense text messages and we had an exchange and he profusely apologized and he got Nerdist to change it. Okay, well, at least he did that. I basically was like, you're basic, you're dead to me, and have fun reading my fucking book, you motherfucker. Weeks later, Phillips also received an equally apologetic email from Jeff.
Damn. Wow.
So, yeah,
I mean that.
that is fucked up. And this story like broke years ago. She wrote about this, but I had no idea about this until I went on the Wikipedia and IMDb pages for Blades of Glory.
Yeah. This is.
So it's
I'm.
still, I don't think, widely known.
Yeah. This is the first time I'm ever hearing about this. Like.
Yeah, yeah. And a nice postscript that I found to this story. At the after party for the Blades of Glory premiere, Phillips recalls getting a bit of absolution for the debacle from a no-nonsense Saturday Night Live alum. Amy Poehler grabbed me. Girl, she said, Seth Meyers told me the story of what those dudes did. Fuck them. You rock and are so talented. Come here, sit at our table.
Oh wow.
So,
That's cool. Amy
Amy
Poehler.
Poehler kicks ass.
Right. Right.
But
No, Amy Poehler is
that
fantastic.
is so fucked up that happened. And
Right. Yeah. No, I've never heard of that story. That's
yeah,
that is wow. That's allegedly. I mean, that's like that's pretty crazy.
that's nuts. I mean, it's just like, but
Right.
what would you lose by giving Busy Phillips some credit and having her play a part in the movie? I don't.
Right. Allegedly. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Allegedly. Um. That's wow.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's been acknowledged by the people involved.
Okay.
So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. But still, that I've never heard that story before. That's geez,
Yeah,
this is it's a tough business.
yeah, yeah, and it's like and it's just so weird because like Jeff and Craig Cox were unknowns, and Busy Phillips was an established talent. You know, not like super famous A-list star, but I mean, you know, she's been around. She's done lots of cool stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
no, she
why
has.
not have her in the movie? She's an asset.
Yeah, that is wow. I mean, geez, I mean, are those guys still working? I mean, I'm hoping like some after
They've
something like
done some stuff since they don't have Wikipedia pages, and one of these stories told some of their subsequent credits, but I don't have it handy right now.
all right,
They
yeah.
have
I mean,
screenplays, but
I'm hoping after the story broke, people were just like, oh, we shouldn't work with these guys because they're. Mm.
I don't know. I mean, at least they acknowledged the mistake and they tried to make it right. But you know, that's not something you ever should have done in the first fucking place. You know?
Here, here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that is that is quite a tale. Holy moly! All
that's
right.
nuts, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I'm sorry. That's well, I'm sorry. I'm just beside myself. I'm just
I know. I know. Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
I read that and I was like, okay, we're definitely going to talk about this.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so I guess the takeaway is Busy Phillips is the real
Yeah.
hero of this film.
Yeah. It says on IMDb she was reluctantly given credit as a writer due to the film's vulnerability of a lawsuit and the rules of the Writers Guild. So she has like a story by credit now.
Yeah, I do see that in IMDb. So I mean, she
Yeah.
got that. That's good.
So that's good, and I hope some money comes with that as well. So
Right. No, absolutely, absolutely.
because I mean, because it's a great idea. It's a great
Yeah,
idea for a film, and yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, Busy Phillips, if you're listening, and you know we know you are, we stand with you here at the SNL
Yeah,
Nerds.
yeah. We love Busy Phillips. Love Freaks and Geeks. Love Cougar Town. You know, I watched your that talk show you had on E that was unfortunately short lived. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we enjoy the Busy Phillips. I've not read her book yet. I need to pick up her book.
Yeah, I guess I have to pick up too. I have not read it. Like, I mean, the last thing I saw of her was I actually watched. I mean, this is SNL related. I watched a couple episodes of Girls Five Eva on Peacock.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't checked that out yet. How's that?
I've only watched the first three episodes because I mean, Peacock does this thing where, like, to sign up for Peacock is free, but then
Mm-hmm.
not all of the episodes are free. So
Oh, I
yeah,
thought they had like a free thing where you could watch stuff with commercials.
uh, you can't. This is how I saw it. Like, so I signed up for free for Peacock, and I was able to watch the first three episodes of Girls Five Eva. But then after that, you have to pay, you know, like $5 a month to see the rest of the episodes.
Oh, that's how they get you.
Yeah, and if you want to see it without ads, then that's $10 a month.
Oh, okay.
So
That's interesting. I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah. So I only saw the first three episodes, and I really dig them. I mean, for those that don't know, Girls Five Eva, it's a sitcom written by the same people that gave us Kimmy Schmidt, you know, Robert Carlock,
Hmm.
and Tina Fey. It focuses on a girl group from the late '90s, early aughts called Girls Five Eva, and now cut to modern day, they're all in their 40s, they're all older women, and they're a girl group that had like one hit song back in their heyday. So they're literally like one hit wonders. Cut to present day, um, there's a rapper now who's out called a Little Stinker, who samples one of their songs and it becomes a hit. So now they have a little bit of heat because of uh, was it people are kind of interested in them again.
Hmm.
The nostalgia factor is in
Sort of
again.
like when Little Nutsack used Dewey Cox's "Walk Hard" in his song.
Yes, of course, we all remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so basically the girls want to get back together again, and they want to maybe do another, have another hit and get the girls back together. It has, like I said before, Busy Phillips is
Hmm.
one of the members.
I know Paula Pell's in the show.
Yes, Paula Pell's in it. She's one of the She's one of the members, and it has two women in it that have a background in music. Sarah Bareilles, of
Mm-hmm.
course, from her hit song and from the Broadway show Waitress. She's in this show. She plays somebody. She's like married, and she lives in Astoria, Queens, and with her husband and their kid, and she works at her brother's Italian restaurant. And it also has I forget her name, but let me look it up. But another
Okay.
singer who was from Hamilton fame in it
Oh,
too.
cool.
Uh, uh, I'll look up the name real quick. But yeah, like it's a good show. It's like it basically has like pretty much the same tone of comedy that you'd expect from Kimmy Schmidt and whatnot. So if you like, it has like that very New York centric, quick, fast paced type of comedy in it. So
It looks like the fourth one in the cast is Renee
yes,
Elise Goldsberry.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Renee,
she's the fierce one.
yes, she's really good too. So it has like two actual singers in it and like two comedic actors in it, and it's really good.
Hmm.
I highly recommend you check it out. It's a show that I'm surprised that it's not on NBC. It seems like they're making a push towards putting all their original programming onto Peacock instead of actually having it on NBC, which is I don't know if I quite
Yeah,
get.
they did the same thing with another show that Paula Pell is on, AP Bio, which I was a big fan of. It ran like a couple seasons on NBC. I don't think it got the greatest ratings, but they did give it another season on Peacock, and I got to check out the season they have on there. I think that's part of the free service. But I know that Girls Five Eva has been renewed for a second season.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, it definitely has the same tone of comedy, like I said, as Kimmy Schmidt and everything. So if you like that kind of Kimmy Schmidt 30 Rock type of comedy, I check out Girls Five Ever. They do a thing where now that they're older women in their 40s trying to be a girl group again, they're kind of looking back on how they were, and maybe some of the songs they sang back then maybe weren't as PC. And now that they're older women, they kind of want to have a more mature sound. And yeah,
Ah,
yeah. So there's like a lot of digs in the show about like the music industry, about fame, how it's fleeting, and what was cool back then maybe isn't as cool now. And there's like a lot of New York, jokes that are very specific to growing up in New York City that I dug.
you do love the New York specific jokes, my friend.
Yes, I do. There's one thing. Well, I mean, I don't think it's like a huge spoiler, but Sarah Bareilles, her husband, and it wants to have another kid because they already have a kid, and she was worried that like having another kid at their age might kind of mess up the chances of reuniting the group together. And I think I think Paula Pell's character says, "Oh, you have just one kid. You don't want him to grow up to be like a New York lonely boy." And they're like, "What's that?" It's like those kids you see in New York who have older parents and it's just a single kid, and like they're the kids that are kind of grown up by themselves. Like their best friends are the doorman. They wear fedoras and drink espresso and listen to NPR podcasts at a young age because they're by themselves, so they're like New York lonely boys.
That's specific.
That's very specific. I like that's something like if you don't grow up in New York, you would even. I mean, you'd get it, but like you wouldn't get it. Get it. And
All right, Darren, we get it. You
yeah.
appreciate it on a deeper level than people who didn't grow up in New York.
Have I mentioned I'm from New York City, guys? And but yeah, it's a good show. It has like a bunch of cameos. Steve Colbert makes it a cameo appearance as a
Hey.
producer, and oh, also Tina Fey is in it for a little bit as Dolly Parton, and that's all I'll say about that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's something that Tina Fey and Melissa Villasenor can talk about at a
Yeah.
cocktail party.
Oh, and Bone Yang, and SNL related Bone Yang makes an appearance too.
All right. Cool, cool.
So check out Girls Five Ever. It's legit.
Girls Five Eva. Check it out.
Yeah. And that's our episode, guys. Thanks so much for listening as always.
Hmm.
As always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL. And the word comic.
Mm-hmm. And as always,
So,
rate, review, subscribe, donate,
yes.
Patreon, all that good stuff.
Yeah, non-productive.com. Go to the Patreon, donate, and let them know that you're donating because of SNL Nerds. And you can hear cool special bonus episodes like our 1941 The Illustrated Story episode with Stephen Bissett. You can hear those early.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got some good stuff coming up, people. Like John and I, we plotted out our summer basically of what's coming out episode wise. We got some tasty treats, some primo cuts coming down the pike.
That's right. Next week, we are going to cover a movie we've been wanting to do for a while. We're going to do Mike Birbiglia's Don't Think Twice. It's about an improv troupe and a Saturday Night Live type show figures into the plot quite strongly.
Yeah, like this came out in 2016. Like we said, it doesn't have any real SNL connections, but it has the essence, the aura of SNL. You'll see what we mean once we talk about it. I just remember seeing this movie, when it came out, and a lot of my comedian friends and a lot of my improv friends saw this movie, and it hit hard. It hit hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's streaming on Hulu, so check it out on Hulu and listen along. Next week, we're going to do Don't Think Twice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's our episode, guys. And
okay.
Anything else to say? Anything you want to close out on? Any cool catchphrase?
Katie is not a whore.
That's no. There's something else we say at the end of every episode.
You mean the phrase that we end every episode, where I say, until then, and then we go into Nerds Out. You want me to do that?
Yeah, could you do that?
Okay, just because you asked so sweetly.
Thank you.
Until then, Nerds Out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.